Hey everybody, it's me, Shaw360. I was not clapping in any kind of rhythm. I was just clapping to give myself a little bit of time. I always feel really self-conscious because technically I'm Gen X, but everybody always talks about the millennial pause. And so I'm like, okay, how do I fill that gap when I'm waiting to make sure the live is actually going? Because I don't know if you guys know this, but if you watch my live streams after they happen, it cuts off like a really small part of the beginning of the live stream, and because of that I usually fill it with the claps. That way, like, by the time you guys watch it back, I'm fully into dialogue without you missing anything. So yeah, that's the story of the claps. I feel like I've told this story before, but maybe I haven't. You never know. But anyway, I'm in my car because I'm going to be spending a lot of time in my car, and I have spent a lot of time in my car. I got to tell you guys about the last 3 days. So if you follow me on Twitter, you may have noticed that Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday, I posted about concerts that I went to. I've been going to concerts every day for the last 3 days. And this is my last big hurrah in terms of concerts. I think Cold is coming to Denver, so I'll probably go see him, but that's in September, I think. So it's not something happening right away. But it just so happened that the lineup of concerts for the last 3 days were such good selections that I had to go. So I'm going to tell you about the last 3 days. I'm going to tell you about uh, buying tickets. I'm going to tell you about concert experiences. That's what we're going to talk about here. Also, I know some of y'all don't like me to talk about non-K-pop stuff. The only K-pop thing I have to say is RM's latest album is brilliant. It's amazing. It's everything I ever wanted from him. I will do a separate video just talking about that album, but that's not today because I didn't see him in concert. I saw other people. But let's keep going. Hey, how's it going, Sarah? Okay, so first things first, let's talk about the first concert I saw this week. The first concert I saw in the last few days was Janet Jackson. Now, I did something that I normally never ever do. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you? I did not buy any tickets in advance. I went to 3 concerts, and on all 3 of these concerts, I bought my tickets the day of. I bought all my tickets after 3 o'clock the day of. So let's talk about Janet first. I had known Janet was coming to Denver for a while. I wasn't sure if I wanted to go see Janet. And to be honest, part of the reason I wasn't sure if I wanted to see Janet is only because Janet's concert was on a Sunday. And when I first heard about her concert, I was still working my job. Part of the reason why I'm filming in my car is because I quit my job. So you guys will not see my beautiful office blinds anymore because I'm no longer filming at my job. But I quit my job not last week, but the week before. And so I didn't have work to go to on Monday. So I'm like, okay, well, since I don't have work to go to, I can see Janet. That should be fun. So I logged on to Ticketmaster to see if there were still tickets available for Janet. And the tickets, honestly, were not badly priced. And I'm like, for me to go, I could go get a decent seat for Janet for $60 plus fees and taxes would make it around $80. That's not bad at all. But SeatGeek is a thing. So for those of you who are not from the United States, SeatGeek is a ticket reseller. They're not connected to Ticketmaster as far as I know, but there's SeatGeek and StubHub are the big like resale websites for concert tickets. And so I decided to go to the SeatGeek app to see if somebody was reselling their Janet ticket, like maybe they couldn't make it into Denver the day of and they just need to get rid of the ticket so they don't take a complete loss on it. You know, I'm being helpful. By the way, all 3 of the concerts I went to, I bought all of my tickets on SeatGeek. So shout out to SeatGeek. You got things going on. I get on SeatGeek to find out what are the prices for tickets. And I got 2 tickets to go see Janet. So it was me and Stevie. We both went together. I got 2 tickets to see Janet. Those 2 tickets, plus taxes and fees, was $33. For both, like together, not 33 each, 33 together, including taxes and fees. Now, granted, our tickets were nosebleeds, but the tickets were selling on SeatGeek for $7 a piece. So I got 2 tickets to go see Janet Jackson, Michael Jackson's sister, Janet Demita Jo Jackson, for $33. The craziest price ever. So I call my daughter. I say, hey, you want to go with me to see Janet tonight? And she's like, yeah, I don't have anything to do. Let's go. We get in the car. We drive up to Denver. My parking cost almost as much as my tickets. The parking cost $30. The tickets were $33. So we park, and we got there. Honestly, we got there like right when the concert was supposed to start. Lately, when I've been going to concerts, if they tell you that the concert starts at 8, it starts at 9. If they tell you the concert starts at 9, it starts at 10. When I went to Madonna didn't get on stage, I don't think, until 10. So I'm like, there's no need for us to rush and wait in line. Let's just get there at the time the concert is starting. If we get there around that time, the doors will be open. We'll be able to walk right to our seat. And true enough, we got there. There were no lines to get into the ball arena. We got in via the bar. I think they call it like front row bar, something like that. But anyway, there was like an entrance to the arena through the bar instead of through like the main gates. We got in through the bar, no waiting, like literally no line at all. Got up to the the first floor, which is where all like the 100 level seats are. That's where the merch table was. Looked around at the merch table a little bit, then went up to the third floor, which is where our nosebleed seats were. Got in our seats. The two people that were next to us did not show up, so we moved over one seat, so we had room on both sides of us, and watched Janet perform. Not just watched Janet perform, but I didn't see who her opening act was, because when I went to Mariah, there was no opening act. I mean, there was a DJ, but I don't consider a DJ an opening act. When I went to Beyonce, there was no opening act. So, and then like The Weeknd had 2 DJs as his opening acts. So I wasn't expecting an opening act. So I'm sitting in my seat, excited to see Janet Jackson. There's a DJ on the stage playing a little music. Some girls are out there dancing. I'm thinking, okay, this is fun. This is cute. This DJ's got dancers. No, ma'am, no, sir. Nelly comes out. Hot in Here Nelly comes out. And I'm like, what the hell is Nelly doing here? Even though I looked at the merch table, I did not look at the fact that Nelly was the opening act for Janet Jackson. So I'm in my seat, and he's like, you know, underlay, mommy, oh, what's poppin' tonight? And I'm with my daughter, who has absolutely no knowledge of early 2000s hip hop at all. She knows none of the songs. The only song she knows is Hot in Here. They play the song from Bad Boys. They play Air Force One. They play Grills. She doesn't know any of the songs. Country Grammar, she doesn't know. Batter Up, she doesn't know. But then, right before he gets to Hot in Here, Ashanti, who is the current girlfriend of Nelly, who he's having a baby with. They used to date back in the early 2000s. Now they're dating again. Very cute. Very, you know, finding your lost love type of bullshit. But anyway, she comes out with balloons, tells him, happy Father's Day, baby, I love you. He's like, oh, I love you too. That's my baby mama, guys. Give a round of applause. Then he does Hot in Here, the only song my daughter recognizes. And we're sitting in our seat. And this has nothing to do with the venue. This has nothing to do with the performers on stage. Nelly looked good, by the way. Like, for a man in his 40s, he looks very good. Like, his body is right. But the person sitting in front of us, it is an older woman and an older man. I would say that they're my age, maybe slightly younger. She is shaking ass, and he is rubbing her ass. So while Nelly's talking about, you know, it's getting hot in here, so hot, so take off all your clothes, the woman in front of us is swaying her ass, and the guy behind her is just doing this number in front of me and my girl. And I'm just like, Stevie, please tell me I'm not this corny. I know these are old people, so maybe they don't know that this is like mad corny to be rubbing up on your girlfriend in the middle of the concert. But anyway, that was the Nelly performance. The Nelly performance was good. What I really liked about his performance is something that also happened on the second concert that I went to, where he has a song called Dilemma. It's one of his most famous songs. It's featuring Kelly Rowland from Destiny's Child. And of course, Kelly Rowland is not following Nelly around the country to do performances. So he plays their video in the background, and every time it's her turn to sing, it shows her singing her portion of the song on the video screen. I thought that was very, very cute. But anyway, Nelly comes out, Nelly does his thing, Nelly goes back. Then, all of a sudden, the lights go down, they come back up fully, everybody goes take a bathroom run, a beer run, and then 15 minutes later, lights are out again, out comes Janet Jackson. I felt so young watching Janet go on stage. Not young because Janet's older than me like that. Young because all of the songs that I related to, all of the dances that I loved, all the ways that Janet performs were all things that as a kid I remember noting. I remember like the way that Janet kind of leans to one side when she is like posing on stage. Like she'll stop and she'll kind of lean to one side and like point in different directions. All those things that I noted when I was a kid, I just noted in her performances on like the VMAs, different award shows, stuff like that. I never thought I'd see it in person. But I remember so badly as a kid wanting to see Janet because Janet was everything. I loved Control. There's an ambulance coming past. No, it's a fire truck, but don't worry, nothing's going on behind me. Anyway, when I was a kid, I would see her do Control, Rhythm Nation, all this stuff. And I was like, okay, I like Janet. She's a part of the zeitgeist, you know, Janet's cool. When Janet came out with the Janet album, the one where she's on the cover with her arms up and her husband's holding her boobs, when that album came out, my entire opinion of Janet changed. I'm like, Janet is one of the coolest women on the planet. She's one of the sexiest women on the planet. She is sensuality personified. Like, the way she looks in the Love Will Never Do video, the If video, the choreography, you know, you're smooth and shiny. I just... Anytime, any place, guys. The anytime, hey Meg, the anytime, any place video. In the thunder and rain. Anyway, like Janet was the first Black woman I ever saw really embrace their sexuality, but it wasn't crass, it wasn't vulgar, it was just like her being her, and I loved it. And so seeing her play those songs on stage and having a lot of the same movements, like definitely the choreography is different. Janet Jackson is a woman in her mid-50s, so she's not dancing as hard as she used to. She did a little bit of Pleasure Principle. She did not do the chair dance. So I'm not expecting everything to be exactly the same, but to see her do all the things that as a kid I was so impressed with her by, to see her sing all the songs that as a teenager helped me kind of, you know, embrace my own sexuality and my own need to express myself. And I don't know, it just made me feel super young because I never thought that day would come. And the last time I even thought about seeing Janet in person was when I was maybe a college student, and it's been, gosh, 20 years since I was a college student. So Janet was very, very special to me. Also, Janet had on some really cool costumes. Her costumes were, she had on like this menswear kind of gray suit situation in the very beginning of the concert. Then she changed to this very pretty kind of Vivienne Westwood plaid ensemble, which I thought was really, really cute. She had her hair in braids. She had them in the Poetic Justice braids. That was another thing. She had a song where she put a little bit of like California Love's beat to the song, like as a transition, which was a nice shout out to Tupac. She did the song from the Poetic Justice soundtrack, The Best Things in Life Are Free, which was her song with Luther, which was also a really sad moment because Tupac is gone and Luther is gone. She's the last one remaining. She did Scream. She did Scream. She did If. She did Come Back to Me, and she did oh gosh, Let's Wait a While. She did Let's Wait a While, which are my favorite Janet ballads. Time Flies is good too, but she didn't do that much of Time Flies. It was just a really great concert. It was a lot of nostalgia for me. Her dancers were so hot. She had a moment, okay, so back in the old days when I was a teenager, Janet used to bring a guy on stage and she would like basically dance in his lap, give him a lap dance, all that stuff. She did that, but she didn't bring a guy off the stage. Instead, she had one of her dancers sit in the seat and she gave him the rub down. Her dancers are so fine. Like, they're really, really cute. She made them wear like these plaid skirts, and so they were out there like topless with these long like ankle-length plaid skirts. It was a look. It was definitely a look. But yeah, Janet was amazing. I was so happy to see her. My daughter, not super impressed because she did not have on earplugs, which if you're ever going to a concert, I recommend buying these because my daughter didn't have them the first night, but she went with me to the second night's concerts and she had these on and she said it made a super difference, really protected her hearing. Also, I realized on night 3 of concerts that I am battling an ear infection, which is why the last night of concerts was super brutal for me. I'll talk about that in a minute. But yeah, Janet was a good time. Janet was a good time. I was feeling very high from going to Janet. I was feeling very positive about my chances of getting tickets for the next night's concert because when I picked my daughter up, I said, hey, thank you for coming to the Janet Jackson concert. Would you like to go to another concert with me tomorrow? And she's like, I don't know. Who are we going to tomorrow? She's like, Meg Thee Stallion. And my daughter's like, Yeah, I want to go see Meg Thee Stallion. So first night was Janet Jackson, living a childhood fantasy. I have now seen 3 divas in less than 12 months. I saw Beyonce in August of last year. I saw Mariah Carey in December, and I just saw Janet Jackson on Sunday. So I'm killing it when it comes to the diva front. But yeah, Janet was a great time. She moved the whole time. The only time Janet Jackson did not dance was when she was doing her ballad section of her show. Other than that, Janet Jackson stayed on her feet the entire night. So kudos to her, her and Madonna. I don't know what kind of supplements they're taking to protect their joints and knees, but my God, those women, they're still killing it out there. But let's go to night 2, Meg Thee Stallion. So the day of the Meg Thee Stallion concert, I had such fantastic luck with my Janet tickets. I'm like, okay, I'll wait until a little after 3 o'clock to see what can I get from Meg Thee Stallion. And the ticket situation was not looking good. People still wanted $91 a seat for the nosebleeds before fees and taxes, which would be like $120. I'm like, I'm not paying $120 to be in the nosebleeds at Meg. I'm sorry, but not sorry. I'm not doing that. Then around, I want to say 3:20, 2 seats open up at the club level. These seats are $102. With taxes and fees, it was closer to like 130, 140-ish. I think 140. So I got 2 tickets, one for me, one for Stevie. And we went to Meg Thee Stallion with her opener, Glorilla, at the Ball Arena. So we're right back at the Ball Arena again. I learned my lesson from the first night. I bought my parking ahead of time. I saved $10 buying my parking the night before. Well, not the night before, but right before I got there. So like right when we left the driveway, I typed in the website for the parking at Elitch Gardens, and I paid $20.50 for parking, whereas the night before I had paid $30 at the gate to park. So we go to the arena. Again, we arrived at the stated show time because, of course, the show's going to start later, so we've got plenty of time. I have never gone club level at a concert before. I've gone to concerts where I've been P1. I've gone to the 100 seats. I was literally behind Violet Chachki at Madonna. Like, I've had decent seats all around the stadium, but I've never done club level before. Never even really thought about club level before, to be honest with you. So I get to the elevator behind the merch booth where all the merch for Meg and Glorilla was, and the elevator drops us off at 2. If you've never been to the Ball Arena in Denver and you don't know if you're ever going to go, I highly recommend the club seat. So the club seat is just north of the 100 levels, but the floor that the club seats are on, carpeting, a full bar, no lines at concessions, the bathrooms are virtually empty. Like, only about 1/10 of the stadium is on the club level. So even though the club level encompasses the entire arena, there's hardly anybody on the club level. And it was just so nice because if you got overwhelmed, like waiting for the show to start, you go out to the carpeted area, go sit at the bar, grab a drink, watch a television, and be fine. It was just, I don't know how to describe it, man. It was just really, really nice. And so this is my first experience with club level. I loved it. If I ever get a chance to get discounted club level seats again, I'm absolutely going to do it. Especially like the Doobie Brothers are coming in either August or September. I'll probably get tickets for me and my mom to go see the Doobie Brothers for club level. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back. So me and my daughter are super excited to see Meg. And the energy to go to the Meg show is an entirely different energy than it was to go to Janet. Going to Janet, I don't know if you guys could guess this, but Janet was mostly like middle-aged people, middle-aged people's kids. So it was very like people in comfortable tennis shoes with their concert t-shirts and, you know, their cargo shorts. No one was really dressed to the nines to go see Janet. No one was dressed in Janet cosplay. It was just really just a lot of people being like, I want to see her. I either have never seen her or I see her every time she comes to Denver, one of the two. So yeah, I was like, okay, I'm going to wear the exact same kind of thing that I wore to Janet. So when I went to Janet, I wore a t-shirt, jeans, and comfy sneakers. When I went to go see Meg, I had a t-shirt, some kind of baggy pants, and tennis shoes. But I tell you, the crowd for Megan is an entirely different animal. There are people there in complete cosplay. Like, I saw a Tuxedo Mask, I saw one of the Sailor Moon girls, I think it was Mercury is who I saw people dressed as Luffy from One Piece. Like, there were so many people cosplaying. There were so many people in like their most Instagram baddie hot girl outfits. There were so many people with butt cheeks exposed. The girl sitting next to me was wearing a bathing suit with assless chaps, which I remember thinking, you know, I don't fault you for wanting to wear the gear that you never wear other places because this is a safe space, but I would never let my bare skin touch these stadium chairs. Just me, just me. But yeah, like, the arena was full of like the girls, the gays, the theys, the boyfriends. Like, everybody was there, and it was so lovely and so nice, and everyone was really sweet to each other. Everyone was super turned up. Like, people were twerking in the aisles, shaking ass, videotaping themselves shaking ass. A lot of like, eh. It was a very different energy. It was very much a crowd for my daughter, so I was glad she was having a good time. But like, the DJ was on playing music. They played Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us before Glorilla came out, but then Glorilla comes on stage. And Glorilla, you probably heard of her because like, she had that one TikTok song, Yeah Glow, and she had the Fuck Nigga Free song, Tomorrow. She's had a lot of songs. Glorilla's a really good female rapper. But Glorilla comes out, and she is so pretty. Like, if you see her in videos, she's good looking. Like, she's a good looking girl. But in person, she's so pretty. And it's a pretty that I really have a hard time describing because, yeah, she's got beautiful eyes. She's got really full lips. She's got kind of a flatter or wider nose. But she's like a peaceful pretty. Like, she's the kind of pretty that she just looks like everything in her life is going right. She looks like all of her bills are paid. Her skin is clear. She looks like she doesn't really worry about anything. Like, she's just gorgeous. Like, super duper gorgeous. She had this wig that was like, the hair was from her scalp all the way down to the back of her knees. So I don't know how many inches we're talking about here, but it was a beautiful, like, wet wavy wig. She has the best looking chest. Oh my gosh. I know I sound like I'm really like, I feel like I'm kind of objectifying her, but I'm really not trying to. When I say she has a beautiful chest, what I mean is, like, first of all, she has abs. She's totally cut up, right? But then, like, she had on this bra top that was basically like two little triangles, one on each nipple, and like no sag, no jiggle. Like, her body is so tight, and she was out there actually dancing. Like, she had maybe 6 or 7 background dancers with her. I think she had like 4 female background dancers or 5, and then she had like 2 boy backup dancers. She was dancing with them. Every song she had choreography to. She was rapping the whole time, rapping every single one of her lyrics. Like, she was so good. And I hadn't really paid a lot of attention to Glorilla as a stage performer. I just basically been hearing the songs and thinking, yeah, Glow, like, she's cool. But watching her on stage, I just was like, I really hope her life goes well. I really hope she sees a lot of success because she was so positive. Like, all of her songs, even though they're very much like, I'm doing me, I'm gonna be all right, I'm feeling successful, I'm that girl. A lot of her songs have a lot of uplifting messages, and I don't think I had noticed until she started doing like back to back to back, and I realized like she's just a really centered and grounded person, and she really makes music that's meant to make other women feel empowered. And I don't know, I just really liked it. Also, like, for nothing, there were a lot of queer people in the audience, and Glorilla gives off very much a queer friendly vibe. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or not, but like, I feel like she's a girl for the girls, if you know what I mean. But yeah, great set. After her set was done, then they take the lights up and everyone runs because they got 15 minutes to get what they need to get done. Then Meg comes on the scene. Megan Thee Stallion has one of the most beautiful bodies I have ever seen in person. Like, she looks like she was built in a factory. Like, she's perfect. She's perfect. I mean, she's cute in the face. Don't get me wrong. She's real cute in the face. But like, when I tell you, she had on these bodysuits. She had a bodysuit towards the end of the concert, and she had a bodysuit on at the beginning of the concert. And her body is just perfect. Her butt is exactly the right size for her legs. Her legs are super toned. Her waist is super little. She has great, like, proportionate boob to butt ratio. Like, she's fucking gorgeous. She looks like she doesn't need to rap for a living because she's so pretty that people should be falling down and offering to care for her for the rest of her life. But then she starts rapping immediately. Like, as soon as the riser brings her up to the stage top, she's got her head tossed back, the microphone up, and she is rapping hiss. And she is rapping like at the speed of light. She's rapping ultra clear. She sounds just like the albums, and she's rapping the whole show. There are very few times where she didn't rap all of her lyrics. Like, she is phenomenal. And not just that, Meg is dancing with her dancers. Meg is, it's in some instances out dancing her dancers. There's a lot of times where Meg was on stage performing and dancing and her dancers were not even around. Like, she's got so much energy. She never stops. Meg doesn't have any ballads because she is a rapper, which both me and my daughter realized we had not been to a rap concert together before, but she does not have ballads. So she's having to give full energy the entire night. She goes through like all of her hits, of course. She not only is like full on, like, you know, rap, she's also doing crowd work, and her crowd work is so good. So for those of you not familiar, crowd work is basically where the entertainer will talk to the crowd and, you know, maybe take gifts, maybe ask questions, maybe pull someone on stage. Janet did not do nearly as much crowd work as anybody else that I saw the last 3 days, but that's because Janet's got a very tight set, so probably doing a lot of crowd work really doesn't work for the kind of show she's trying to give. But Meg, she was talking to people, she was taking presents, she was signing posters, she was signing flags, she was signing hats, she waved around the rainbow flag. Like, she's such a cool girl. There was a person that had a shirt that made her break out into giggles, and she's got such a sweet laugh. Like, she has such a pretty face, but like when she giggles, she's so cute. She's such a cute girl. But the shirt was, I support men's rights to shut the fuck up. Like, that made her really laugh hard. But she was like pointing at all the people who showed up in cosplay, and she was naming their characters. She was bringing some of them on stage. She just was really cool. And she had 2 times where she brought like a group of people on stage to twerk and dance with her. And then one time she brought somebody on stage to rap with her. You can find that on Twitter. But yeah, like, she's a star. Like, you can tell that as a Houston native that Meg really went to like the school of Beyonce stage presence, because she moved the entire night, she danced, she was entertaining, great breath control, really rapping the shit out of her music, really good at interacting with people and making people feel comfortable. Like, the safe space that people were promised at the Meg concert, they got. And when she brought people on stage to twerk with her, she didn't just bring the little cute girls with like the perfect bodies that could really, you know, shake a tail feather. She brought bigger girls, and she brought guys, and she brought big and small guys, and she brought cosplayers, and she brought all kinds of people on the stage with her. Like, it was just a really welcoming and nice atmosphere. And I had to leave a little early just because we needed to fight the crowd trying to get out of there, because everyone leaving at the same time, you know, traffic was going to be impossible. But yeah, I really enjoyed the Meg show. I would see Meg Thee Stallion again. I encourage anyone who can get their hands on a ticket, go watch her. She's very, very good. But yeah, she has a great show. She's a beautiful girl. She's got a lot of energy. She's got a ton of charisma. Like, the tickets were the most expensive tickets I bought for the 3 days, but absolutely worth it. I bought a t-shirt at the Janet show, which I can't show you because I wore it to the GSoul show, so I need to wash it. But let me show you the Meg Thee Stallion shirt I got. So I got this shirt, which was my Meg Thee Stallion shirt. Out of all the choices of shirts to get for her, this was like the one that to me was the most tame. She had a red shirt that had her with like her chest out, kind of. She had another one with like her butt out, coming out of the water. This one to me was probably like the best choice for what I wanted. And then it's got like all of the shows on the back. But yeah, Meg had a great show. I was really, really super impressed, and I would definitely see her again. So that was night 2 of concerts. Well, after 2 nights of concerts, Stevie needed a break, which I was like, fine, girl, I get it. You need a break. We've really been on the road ripping and running, but I got one more concert I have to do. And this is the one that I really debated about whether or not I was going to go to it. So I had gotten an advertisement about a month ago that GSoul, the Korean singer, was coming to Denver. And it was around the same time that I knew that Janet and Meg were going to be here. He was coming on a Tuesday night, which what a random night to be, right? And I had been debating about whether or not I wanted to go. The reason I had been debating about whether or not I wanted to go is because honestly, over the years, I have felt, I don't know, kind of iffy about GSoul. I've never doubted GSoul's talent as a singer. I've always thought that GSoul had an amazing, incredible voice. I really don't feel like there's a lot of people that are doing it in Korean entertainment the way that he's doing it in terms of having the kind of voice that he has. So I've always enjoyed him. But, you know, he's had a lot of turmoil in terms of like where his career has gone over the years. Like he was with JYP for the longest, like literally the longest. And then after he left JYP, I think he was independent for a while. He tried to change his name to Golden for a hot minute, was on a reality TV show. Then he signed with one of J Park's different entities, and then that thing fell apart and he left them very soon after signing with them. And I just hadn't really heard a lot of music from him, and I don't know, I just was kind of like on the fence, like would I enjoy a GSoul concert, because the music, I feel like I hadn't really heard from him in a long time, and he seemed to be going through a lot of stuff, so I was like, I don't know if this will be a good time. But I had not bought a K R&B album in a really long time. Like I haven't bought any K-pop this year, I don't think. But I hadn't bought anything K-R&B in a long time, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm the only one going, me going and paying for this concert is about the same as me buying 2 albums from Korea once you include shipping, taxes, everything else. So yeah, I think it's probably worth it. So for the cost of about, I want to say it was like $49 with taxes and fees, bought on SeatGeek. The original tickets were like $64.50, which I was not gonna pay $64.50. But yeah, $49 taxes and fees. I drove up to Denver. The concert was at a venue downtown called the Marquee Theater, and I went to go see GSoul. And I wish that GSoul had been there on Saturday, or I wish that GSoul had been there before I went to all the other concerts, because by the time I got to his concert, I was so incredibly tired. So the first thing that happened is I drove up just in time for the concert. Like literally by the time I got to the bar and got a drink, the show started like maybe within 5 minutes. But he had a show at a theater in downtown Denver, which is like literally downtown Denver, not that far from where the Rockies play. And so parking was impossible. Like I drove around for maybe 10 minutes just looking for a vacancy in parking. Most of the parking lots were full. So that was an issue, is trying to find parking. Then because the parking I found was so far from the venue, it took me about maybe 6 or 7 minutes walking to get to the venue, because I was parked like 3 full city blocks away from the venue. And then the venue itself, it's a theater downtown, and theaters are not very big, so it was not a very big venue. Everything was on the same floor. There were a couple of tables here and there, but for the most part everyone was standing room only at the venue. So I was tired by the time I got inside the venue. I went up to the bar, got a drink. I got a cherry limeade, which was very good, non-carbonated but super delicious. Anyway, turn around and the show starts. The first person to come out is a singer named Sangsta. It's Sangsta, Sangsta. Anyway, cute little kid. Like he must be in his early 20s, because he looked like a baby. He had on this big blue sweater, white t-shirt, and then a black hoodie. Not hoodie, but a black beanie. And songs were cool. The music was really good. The only problem is that a lot of his songs sounded exactly the same. If I were him, I would try to find some way like vary the tempo or like vary the vibe, because he very much sounded like lo-fi beats to study to. But really fun guy. He didn't seem offended that the crowd really didn't know his music all that well. And when there were times where he wanted them to sing along, he would like tell them what to say, and then they would sing along the way he had instructed them to. So it was really nice. But he came out, was really good, nice little DJ. And then after him was another guy whose name I do not know. I think the second guy might have been Gemini, but I really have no clue. But he came out and he did some songs. He was a lot more of a performer than the first guy. He was very much like spraying water on the crowd through a water bottle, dancing and hyping himself up, and, all that kind of stuff. Also, he confused me because he was singing and he's like, you guys have to know this song. And then he started singing a song and the crowd knew the words, but I'm like, I know this song and I don't know who the fuck this guy is on the stage. I come to realize about halfway through, he is singing Justin Bieber's Confident. And I was confused just because I'm like, why are you singing Justin Bieber's Confident and you're not like telling people, I'm gonna do a cover or anything. You just like launch into it like that's your song. I don't know. It was very confusing to me. But anyway, he's singing that and he's good, but till this very moment, I have no idea what his name is. Both him and the other guy were like, I'll be hanging out the merch table to sign things if you want me to. So I'm like, okay, cool. Once GSoul gets off stage or once he gets later on in the evening, I'll go and I'll get to the merch table and I'll get some stuff signed. It'll be fine. Give me a chance to spend a little money on him, right? Well, then GSoul comes out. GSoul comes out and he's wearing sunglasses in a dark, smoky theater. And I'm like, okay, not sure why you got on glasses, but we'll keep going. And he opens his mouth and he sounds incredible. If you have the opportunity to see GSoul if he comes anywhere near you, I highly recommend to do it. Most of the songs he sings are in English. Most of his discography, honestly, is in English. But he sounds better than the record. Like, there were a few times during the show where he just basically had no backing track and was just singing a cappella to the crowd. And he was incredible. Like, his voice, it sounds just like the record, but he does even more in terms of like runs and things like that when he's singing in person. His voice is as clear as a bell. His DJ had the bass on really, really loud, and the stage lights really hurt my eyes while I were in there. And like I was telling you at the very beginning of this, I think I am battling an ear infection. So towards the end of the evening with all the bass, I really couldn't stand it much longer and I had to leave. But he was so good. And he's really comfortable on stage. Like, because it was a smaller venue, of course he's not hitting a two-piece or a two-step. He's not dancing. He's not got background dancers. It's really just him and a DJ, some camera people, some security people. But he just was so comfortable on the stage. I guess because he has such a great voice that he just really trusts that his voice is enough to hype up the audience. But he was just really conversational and he was really kind. He picked up people's phones and filmed himself singing, and he was really approachable is not the word. He was really considerate of the fact that people were taking time to see him. He's like, thank you for coming. I'm super grateful to be here. Like, I'm so glad you're here. Do any of y'all know this song? Do you know the name of my new single? Is this something that you guys are interested in? He even broke into a gospel song at one point. He did an a cappella rendition of Never Would Have Made It. But he was really, really fun to watch because, again, like I said, he was so comfortable. He just really owned the stage. He's very confident in his skill, and he told a couple little stories, but nothing too outrageous. But he was just really, really nice, and I was glad to see somebody who seems so comfortable on the stage. He's not the veteran that Janet is, where at this point in her career, the stage is like very much set to run on schedule, but he wasn't so kind of newish in his career like Glorilla, where he feels like he has to do a lot to impress the crowd. It was more him just being like, I've been doing this for a while, and I don't take for granted the fact that people actually showed up tonight to be here. So that was great. But at one point in the evening, it was around the time he was playing Hate Everything, they had these lights on the stage that were shining into the audience, and that thing had like beamed me in the eye at least 15 times already. But at one point it got like directly in my eyes, and I knew I had an optometrist appointment today, and I was just like, I can't handle this anymore. I cannot sit here and have you shine this light in my face. So I actually left after Hate Everything. So I'm not exactly sure how the GSoul concert ended, but on my way out the door I stopped by the merch table because I remembered that the two opening acts were supposed to be at the merch table. They were not there. No one was at the merch table. So I'm like, okay, well, I guess I won't be buying anything from them at the venue. I was going to, but maybe they were like, you needed to catch me right after my set if you wanted me to sign anything. But other than that, I was so glad to get in my car. And I spent my entire time on the ride home thinking about how I was going to tell you all about my 3 days of concerts and how it's not something I recommend that anyone else do. It is very tiring. I mean, I don't know how you guys get to concerts, but I live not in Denver. I live outside of Denver, and it takes me about an hour to get into Denver, sometimes an hour and a half depending on what the traffic is. And then after the concert is over, usually the concerts are over around 10 o'clock, I'm driving an hour at night in traffic to get home. And it's just, it takes a lot out of you to do that. Plus, getting dressed for the concert and, trying to, get the parking situation set up, trying to get something to eat on the way back from the concert because you didn't want to eat right before the concert because you didn't want to have to use the bathroom at the venue. All that kind of stuff is stuff to consider when you're going to these concerts. So I don't know. It's not a run I would ever do again just because of how exhausting it really was towards the end. But I'm really glad I got a chance to see the artists that I did because it actually gave me a new feeling about all three of them. Well, all four of them if you include Glorilla. I feel the same about Nelly as I did before I saw him. But like for Janet, it made me want to go back and listen to some of the later Janet albums. Like I didn't really listen to the album that Feedback was on, so I kind of want to listen to that album again. It made me really appreciate the fact that I was a person who got to grow up with Janet Jackson's music, because while I was watching her on stage, I could see little flecks of Britney Spears, I could see little flecks of Tinashe, I could see little flecks of Sierra. Like she is the blueprint for a lot of those pop girlies. So it was really nice to go back to the foundation of things and be like, this is the one who taught us how to do this. Then seeing Meg Thee Stallion was so impressive and so amazing because she is such a professional, and I just really want things to work out well for her. You can really tell that she understands her audience and that she provides an arena for her audience to be their authentic selves, which I think is something very special, and it's something that I don't know that a lot of artists do. I think when I went to go see The Weeknd, a lot of people dressed up to impress the other people in the audience. When I went to go see Mariah Carey again, a lot of people dressed in like casual wear or wearing the Mariah Carey merch. People went to Meg's concert to dress up for her, but also to dress up for them. For people to be able to be like, I'm gonna wear the thing here that I'm too afraid to wear at home. And I just thought it was beautiful. Everyone felt like they got a confidence booster from being in the arena with Meg. Glorilla, like I said, she's so pretty and she's working so hard, and she's giving you more than just standing on stage and rapping. Like she's doing dance, she's got some super talented background dancers with her, and I don't know, I hope things work out well for her, especially when you hear Glorilla's life story about how she didn't even sleep on a mattress until she was like in her late teens. So yeah, I really, really, really was glad I got to go to this concert tonight. I was really, really glad I got to see these people. Well, not tonight, but Monday. And then GSoul, I was really glad to support GSoul in a way that probably put more money in his pocket than buying an album. And I was really glad to see a veteran K-pop act that wasn't K-pop necessarily, like with the dances and the Aegyo and all that, but like someone just really out here displaying their talent. Because I think sometimes we take for granted as K-pop fans that there's other people in Korea that are practicing music at a super advanced level, but they get lumped in with K-pop because they're all acts coming out of Korea. And what I saw with GSoul is I didn't see a K-pop act. I just saw a really talented R&B act on stage. And it was nice to remind myself of those attributes when it comes to music. Like, music is music, regardless of who makes it. And just because you're from Korea doesn't mean you're K-pop. It could be just you're a really good act, period, point blank. So those were my experience of 3 nights of concerts. No concerts tonight, thank God. I had an optometrist appointment, and then after that, I am getting myself ready. In fact, I'm getting ready to take a nap now because tomorrow morning I'm driving from here to Las Vegas, and then the next day I'm driving from Las Vegas to LA. So I have a lot going on, but I wanted to share this experience with you while it was fresh in my mind, because honestly, I don't think I'm going to remember all of these details in another week or so. And I have a couple more videos I'll try to make for you guys. I have a list of all of the music that was recommended to me on my last video. If you didn't recommend any music for me to listen to in my last video, go ahead and go stop there real quick and recommend me some music, because I'm on a road trip tomorrow and I will be listening to every single thing that was recommended to me on that video. And then I'm also going to do a video just breaking down how I feel about RM's latest project, because I have a lot of thoughts and a lot of feelings, and I have discussion points, and so I want to do that like I did with Indigo. So we'll get there. I didn't buy the physical release. I'm sorry, RM, I'm not buying K-pop, but you know what, I might make an exception for you, because that album was not K-pop. The album was just like a really cool kind of neo-soul alternative hip-hop album. But anyway, that's what's going on, guys. Thank you for listening to me ramble. This wasn't the most exciting live to listen to, but I'm glad to get this off my chest, y'all. And SeatGeek, for real, SeatGeek, last minute tickets on Ticketmaster. I mean, it's not gonna work for everybody. You're not gonna get dog cheap Taylor Swift tickets doing this, but for a lot of acts, I've saved a lot of money. So something to consider. Anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate you being here, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.